Hey guys, welcome back to today's edition of NDD. First and foremost, happy belated Father's Day to all the dads out there doing their thing. Hope you had a great weekend. I certainly did with my little nugget, who is now the world's biggest Notre Dame fan at 3 years old. So if you're out there doing your thing as a dad, I really hope you enjoyed as much as I did my weekend with my little daughter. And I want to start today with something of a refresher from the weekend and some new developments, if we can call it that, in the world of recruiting. For what it's worth, I still do, and I said this last week, I still feel incredibly good about the prospect of Notre Dame eventually landing a commitment from Joey O'Brien, the five-star stud in the 26 class, who himself remains high on the Irish, even more so after taking his OV to campus last weekend. But sticking with the defense to start today's show, you know Notre Dame loses out on Vallejo last week. That was a biggie, goes to Michigan. Mikhail Blade, same deal. So Irish fans, and this included myself in doing the research and having some conversations with folks, want to know what contingency plans are, backup plans are, as you get into this dead period, which will halt face-to-face contact between coaches and recruits. That officially begins Monday, June 23rd, which follows another massive weekend on campus in South Bend. And while it may seem like the pool is running dry of water, there are still some high-level recruits out there. And I start on the defensive line. Notre Dame is still very much in on Cardinal Mooney stud Elijah Golden. And then you have Georgia edge rusher Dre Quinn. You've heard me rave about Golden, and for all the right reasons. 6'4", 260, the kid from Sarasota. He's still getting pursued by major programs. Alabama, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma, Auburn all remain hot on his heels. But the Irish are going to try to use that late visit on the 20th to slam the door shut. You talk about Golden being in Tuscaloosa last weekend. Sure, he enjoyed his time there, but Notre Dame is very much in that mix, and it does look good. From everything you hear, read, the discussions I've had, it still looks good. So again, he'll be on campus this coming weekend, June 20th, and this is a big shot here from Marcus Freeman, Al Washington and company. Take the big right swing and see if you can land another trench guy to this 26 group, which even without the commitment of Vallejo still looks very good from top to bottom. Quinn, on the other hand, this is a little different. Whether you believe he's leaning Clemson or elsewhere, Notre Dame is still in that buzz. They still have the mix in the 6'4", 230 speedster off the edge. He continues to get a lot of attention from the Irish for all the right reasons. You heard me talk a little bit about him a couple of weeks ago. He's got the visits completed to Georgia and Clemson, so that's big. Now he can shift his focus to South Bend as he comes in as a high-ranking 3-star. If you're into that sort of thing, the kid is probably realistically a 4-star. And while that exists, Dre Quinn, as a backup plan, I don't, from what I've read, researched, and spoken about, don't feel as confident about landing Dre Quinn as I might with Elijah Golden, which to me still looks very good. So Notre Dame is not the type of program that is not going to be prepared. We have seen that under Marcus Freeman. We've seen the big game moments, winning them on the field, and the same thing exists in recruiting. You have plans B, C, and D if plan A goes awry. And while there have been more wins than losses, you do have to have those backup plans. And it looks like Elijah Golden is as good as it gets in that regard. So those of you that have been asking about that, and I'll continue to do reports like this as I receive some news on my own end, that is one there along the defensive line. From the wideout position, Braden Robinson is still another name to watch as this 26 recruiting cycle continues. 4-star prospect from Red Oak, Texas, 5'9", 160. I love the kid. And this past weekend, he was among the 21 highly regarded recruits that were on campus in South Bend, and it seemed to be another highly successful weekend from everything that I heard. Now, Notre Dame is in his top 3 along with Miami and Arizona, so you have the competition there. But this is a kid, if you haven't seen it, the tape just shows the truth. Incredible speed. Would be an reliable asset and weapon to give to either Kenny Minchie or C.J. Carr. That much we know. And Marcus Freeman already has commitments in this class from the wide receivers. Boca's Dylan Faison, of course, the younger brother of Jordan, and Bubba Frazier. So that's a big deal. But if you're able to add somebody like Robinson, a crisp route runner, again, I suggest and highly recommend you watch this young man's tape. The separation he is able to create because of that speed is something you just salivate over. That's a weapon to put in any arsenal on any team in the country. And if Notre Dame is able to get that to pair with what they've done in the 26 class, from a wide receiver perspective, it would be huge. The kid's a dynamic athlete, and he's got big playability. And as has been the case for the past few weeks, and look, I know it's frustrating, but I am not the controller of all. I know it's frustrating. We're just going to have to continue to watch the days, watch the weeks surrounding Robinson and many others' recruitment before those announcements come out. Yes, I get it's frustrating. Everybody's teetering to see where these kids are going to go. Well, it looks good for Notre Dame. Are they going to sign with Notre Dame? When's it going to happen? Patience is a virtue, but it's not always easy when you are building a program. If you're aggravated as a fan, just imagine what it's like to be in the trenches as a coach out there. And sticking in the pass-catching department, Notre Dame's got to go out and get tight ends. I've said it time and time again, Marcus Freeman probably wants 2 in the 2026 class. And as of right now, Ohio product Preston Frizzell and Iowa's Evan Jacobson are at the top of the list. That's a fact. And this class has had more wins than losses. That's another fact. But these are the 2 guys that I truly believe, and many of you have said it in the conversations we had, and keep the comments coming on YouTube. It's great, and it drives the show because I want to deliver what you boys and girls want to see. These guys are at the top in the tight end department, all right? Both on campus this past weekend for OVs, and Notre Dame continues to do everything in its power to reel in the big fish. Frizzell actually had the unofficial earlier in that week, but now it's even more serious, all right? Frizzell has Miami and Duke on his heels, but Iowa's very much in the mix as well, and he's going to be set to visit the Hawkeyes this coming weekend. So Notre Dame is hoping that it was able to land its final punch. By all accounts, the visit went incredibly well, and while there are many people that are going to feel that Frizzell will ultimately commit to the Irish, it appears that we are going to have to wait until his trip to Iowa City concludes, which makes sense. He's doing his due diligence as he should. You want to enjoy these moments too, because you only get recruited once. Additionally, Jacobson was high on the visit as well this past weekend, and these kids get to see what their position might look like as a fit in the Notre Dame offense just by going around campus, meeting with the players, the coaches. So that's a huge deal. And if you're able to fall in love with a program, odds are you're going to go there. Now, you like multiple schools, but what is ultimately the best fit for you? To me, in this tight end group, I feel like the Irish are very much at the top of the list for both of these guys. And if you're asking me which one I think is more likely if Notre Dame were to just get one, it feels to me like Jacobson would be that guy. You love the versatility and the athleticism he brings. He also plays basketball in high school, so that's there as the 2-sport star. His decision in Jacobson, that is expected to come at some time in July. And with Marcus Freeman, again, wanting at least 2 tight ends in this group, having not gotten a commitment from this position yet, this is a big deal. Now, if you look at contingency plans, you have Ohio's 4-star Braden Fogel, Kansas 4-star Ian Premer. Both players are going to be in South Bend this week if all else fails. But you have a nice group of tight ends still available, folks. But I know the cream of the crop there on this list is Frizzell and Jacobson. I do feel good about both, but if you are asking me the stronger feeling on one versus the other, to me, it's Evan Jacobson, but time is going to tell. I think it looks pretty damn good regardless on both sides of the aisle. And just, again, I want to wrap the show as I do time and time again with some of the comments that keep coming in. Just Me, KO8 writes, I don't know why I'm now just discovering you. Love it. On a flight in an Irish state of mind and found this. Thanks, and I'll continue to check for you. Go Irish. Obviously, I appreciate that. The Irish state of mind, I've been in it since February 22nd, 1986. All right, 39 years of the highs and the lows. More highs lately. Thank the good Lord, with Notre Dame, but we hope to continue. Regarding the defensive backfield, Augustin Howard, 7955, says he's curious to know if we have any backup names for the DB room. If we don't get Joey O'Brien, we'll need someone else. Now, again, I still feel great about the O'Brien eventual commitment. The OV went well. You talked about having Frizzell and Jacobson on campus as well from the tight end position. But, yeah, there are always going to be backup plans, Augustin. And what you say is true. You want to have those. The Irish are invested in other options. I would say Donovan Webb, who I talked about last week, the 4-star from Texas. You also have another Texan in Jordan Deck, and North Carolina's Nick Reddish. Those are some additional names in the defensive secondary to keep an eye on. And the Reddish one makes sense because Notre Dame, for as good as they've been in California, New Jersey, and Texas over the years in recruiting, they're starting to build a nice little recruiting base in the Carolinas, which is why Nick Reddish makes a lot more sense. So it's a great question. I love that it was offered Augustin, and I will obviously keep all of you abreast at these developing situations as they come. It's a fun time. It's a tricky time. It can be a frustrating time. I think the overall purpose of this show is to give the updates. You know how I feel about this tight end room, wanting to build that in the 26 class. I think we're getting there. And as June rolls along, we're mid-month right now, right? June 16th, June 15th, 16th, wherever you're tuning in from, whenever you're watching this. So there's a lot of work left to be done, and Notre Dame would really like to hammer away this coming weekend with a lot of these June 20th visits. It's going to be fun. We'll see what happens. I will talk to all of you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Irish.